Welcome to the session on Apprentices Act 1961. This is an important legislation. This in the year 1961. The object of the Act is to provide technical training and make them employable in any sector. Responsibility has been put on the industries to engage apprentices and give them training and subsequently discharge them after the completion of training so that the youth becomes employable in the sector. You know that many people, many youths, they will not be afford to join any institute or to spend any money for additional training if they cannot afford it. Hence, with a view to help the people who cannot afford to join a training institute and get the certificates and then look for a job, this scheme is made very helpful and useful. From this point of view, this act has been promulgated. Now, initially to start with, it was limited to only manufacturing sectors, engineering sectors. Then further it is expanded to textile sector, and slowly, time by time, from time to time, the applicability of the Act has been expanded to all type of not only manufacturing but also service and hospitality sectors. So today we find the apprentices spread over in all walks of activities of business enterprise. It can be hotel, it can be transport, it can be airlines, it can be any activity. It has to be expanded, and of course manufacturing and textiles, right from beginning it is there. Even for a small garage, auto garage, if it is employing more than certain people, even for them also it is made applicable. The intention is to provide as much training possible for the youth so that they become absolutely employable. In fact, if you look at overall the overall appraisal, how it has taken place, in fact, the people who have been trained as apprentices in reputed companies are highly, they got a high demand in the sectors of employment. So the employees have been put with the responsibility of taking trainees and train them apprentices and then give them basic training, related instruction classes and practical classes, and make them to appear for a test organized by the apprenticeship advisor and get the certificate, and they become employable in the society. And the most advantage is that the trainees who are taken as apprentices, the persons who are taken as apprentices are also entitled for payment of stipend and also leave facilities and also coverage for medical facilities and other related matters. Now here the system adopted is that the apprenticeship advisor will visit the particular industry and see various categories of employment there, and then make a survey and decides the quota of apprentices to be taken in each designated trade. The designated trades have been notified from time to time by the central government, and accordingly these trades have to be, it comes on the scheduled trades, and they need to take apprentices as per the quota fixed by the apprenticeship advisor. In engaging apprentices, there are two types of apprentices. One is the full-time apprentices. It can be for 3 years or 4 years. It can be short-term apprentices for 1 year for people who have already passed 2-year certificate program, from an industrial training institute of 2-year training in the respective trade. And the apprentices also are required to sign an agreement or a bond with a surety, because they are all minors, because they are less than 18 years of age. With the surety they have to sign the agreement, and the agreement, such agreement has to be registered before the apprenticeship advisor, and the apprentices is not bound to leave the apprenticeship training without terminating the agreement executed by him. And of course, the formalities of, in case the apprentice wants to quit the apprenticeship training and he wants to terminate his agreement, there is a procedure to give notice to the apprenticeship advisor and then only take their permission, and then the agreement can be terminated by parties. This is normally the basic structure of the engagement of apprentices. Now, as I said already, the area of engagement of apprentices has been spread over all types of business today. Even IT and ITES are also not exception. Recently, it has been expanded to IT and ITES sectors also to engage apprentices in their respective trades. Now, this apprentice scheme now has been amended thoroughly. In December 2014, various amendments have taken place. This has been done with the point of view of further expand the potential in the market to see that the youths become more employable and the responsibility of employees is more. From this point of view, to provide employment opportunities to the youth, this further act has been amended to engage more apprentices, and at the same time to ease out a lot of discretionary powers also given to apprentices, employers in the management of apprentice scheme. To start with, the appropriate government has been designed like this. Any establishment comes under the jurisdiction of central government is the authority. Any institution comes under the jurisdiction of the state becomes the state appropriate government is state government. Then the state apprenticeship advisor will be the person. In case of central, it is central apprenticeship advisor. But now in respect of private sector undertaking located in the state government means the state will have to be the state apprenticeship advisor. But in respect of this amendment, this slight amendment has been made now in the sense that in case the employer, private sector, the employee in the private sector has got multiple operations in various states, then the central apprenticeship advisor shall be the authority. This is to only ease out so that the employee can organize with a single appropriate authority in case of administration of the scheme. To ease out, this has been done. Now, designated trade means a trade, occupation or a field of engineering, technology or vocational training as published by the government from time to time. In this amendment, they have introduced non-engineering also. It means that the earlier the designated trade were limited to only engineering side. But now they included non-engineering. It means that even the commercial departments like sales, purchase or related departments can also engage apprentices in suitable in these areas also as designated trade. Now here, and another thing also has been introduced here, what is called an optional trade. In this sense, the employer has been given a liberty to, depending on the availability of the training facility and need for him and the potentiality of training available here, he can also engage apprentices on various other trades that is called optional trades. So this also has been provided under this new amendment. And here graduate or technician apprentices means, of course, a person who is undergoing a training, who has completed the graduation and he is completing, and then commercial apprentice graduate, he is getting training, they are called a graduate or technician apprentices. Then technician vocational training means a person who holds or undergoing a training or a certificate of vocational training involving in 2 years of this one, and now he is pursuing for 1 year short apprentices called vocational apprentices. Trade apprentices means who undergoes apprenticeship in a designated trade. Here in the new definition, the amended definition, worker means any person employed for wages of any kind of work, either directly or through any agency, including contractor. It has been done in this amendment. The reason being that earlier the quota was fixed based on the number of workers in a designated trade. It means that any outsourced activity carried out by any contract labor was not taken into account. So what happens is that your quota, it used to be reduced to that extent. Now here the government wants to ensure, the intention of legislation is to make sure that the contract labour also number is counted for the purpose of workers, so that the number of apprentices to be engaged will be proportionately more. With that idea, this amendment has been done. Optional trade, I told you already, the employer can decide the optional trade, and the qualification of being apprentices shall be as prescribed by the government from time to time by Central Apprenticeship Advisor, and age shall be not less than 14 years of age in case of other industries, but in case of hazardous industries, the age should not be not less than 18 years. So this is another new insertion has been made in this amendment. And they also should meet the standards of physical fitness and educational fitness, and the details of which are published by the central government from time to time, and one is to follow the same thing. The reservation for scheduled caste, scheduled tribes in the designated tribes, there is no change in it. The same what is being practiced now to continue as per notification. Then contract of apprenticeship is, I told you already, contract is obligatory with the terms and conditions stipulated in the format of contract. Now here every contract should be in line with the submission on the web portal, and in return the apprentice should be accepted by the apprenticeship advisor. Now in this amendment they have proposed they are going to create a web portal. Still they have not done it yet as yet, but I think in short time they will do it. A web portal, and web portal we have to online submission of returns, periodical returns, etc. We have to do that. Now for the time being, the returns has to submit in hard copies as presently what we are currently doing now. Now the new provision has been introduced that this one, what you call the qualification and period of apprenticeship and holding test, grant of certificates and other conditions related to the apprentice's optional trade shall be as may be prescribed. The separate notification will be through, and the government will prescribe such notifications. Now here another option is also has been given to employer that he can engage apprentices from other states also. Earlier it was not there, you had to only from local states you had to recruit, but now liberty has been given to employers to recruit apprentices from other states also. Now period of training shall be as per the notification and also as per the agreement executed by the apprentice. Then the qualification of undergoing training is stipulated, but in the amendment, courses approved under this scheme and also had trade conducted by any agency is included. It means that the test conducted by may be outsourced to any agency recognized by the government. Earlier, the test used to be conducted only by Industrial Training Institute or by apprenticeship advisor directly. But now that activity can be outsourced to any agency, the agency is recognized by the central government. Now here in the case of practical and basic trainings, a lot of changes have been made in the sense that a practical training shall be imparted by the employer. For related instructions, training and basic training may be given to any institute having adequate facilities. And employees can join together and arrange for sessions through an approved agency. The liberty has given them. Probably this is with a view to help in various industrial belts. The employer can join together and appoint an agency who can train the people as per the requirements, and this activity can be outsourced. So this is only to encourage the employer to engage persons to employ apprenticeship training. Not only the training pertaining to basic training and related instructions can now be entrusted to an institute having adequate facilities. So this is an advantage for the employers. Now a liberty also has been given to employers to see that the working hours and holidays and other things are in line with the applicable to the particular establishment. And also he has to send returns and records as usual, but now the web portal is going to be created and the returns has to submitted online submissions. Even for holding of tests and grant of certificates and conclusions training has also been being outsourced to, can be outsourced to by any other agency authorized by the central government in this behalf. Now as you know that the test and the grant of certificate has been remitted only by the apprenticeship advisors is state or central, but now it can be any agency authorized by the central government. They can carry out the test and certification and related matters. Now in the present, earlier to the amendment, there was no obligation on the part of the employer to take the apprentices on employment, and it was not a mandatory thing. In other words, it was specifically made very clear that the employer is not bound to entertain any apprentices who have successfully passed to absorb or provide regular employment. But now a small proposal has been made in this amendment, and the section 21, which is recently introduced, what it has said is that every employer shall formulate its own policy for recruiting apprentices who has completed a period of apprenticeship in the establishment. So this is the sentence, the provision, what it says. So it gives a clear indication that indirectly an obligation has been thrust on the employer to see that the apprentices are also engaged in the regular employment after successful completion. Of course, he has to form his own policy, and this is starting at the point now. The penal provisions also have been amended. Now, in order to ensure the penal provisions, in case of any contravention of the Act earlier, the employer was subjected to even fine and even imprisonments. So for this purpose, many of the employees were even afraid to go near and then take the apprentices or not to take apprentices. Now with a view to ease out the tension of the employers, now the penalty has been made in a different way. In the sense that if there is any contravention, in the sense that the employer is not recruiting any apprentices or any short number of apprentices than the allotted quota, the apprenticeship advisor will give a notice of 1 month. The employer has to submit an explanation, and if it is satisfactory, it is fine. If it is not satisfactory and still the employer do not take apprentices, only fines are levied, penalty is levied. It is not a prosecution, it is only penalty. Penalty is 500 rupees per month per apprentices will be levied for first 6 months, and thereafter for first 3 months, and thereafter 1000 rupees per month till the seats are filled up. So it is only to ensure that the employers obey these, considering the penal actions, they have to obey and comply with the regulations of this Act. So this Act in true spirit provides employment to youth. This gives a platform for the youth to get trained in different areas and becomes employable in the larger society. And the employer also get the benefit of another corporate social responsibility of any enterprise also to impart education and training for the youth, indirectly or directly. That also meets the requirement. From this point of view, the Apprentices Act has been quite useful, and more trust has to be given. Thank you.